but I really believe I did the best that I could.
Lucinda?
Hello.
To make sure his first ever studio shoot goes smoothly, Jay's been up since 6 o'clock.
The downside of getting up so early this morning is the amount of coffee that I've actually realised I've consumed, so I'm absolutely hyper. I can, well, having trouble standing still at the minute. It's just nervous energy and caffeine, I think. Brilliant.
He's brought a prop that echoes the cover of Jermaine's most famous book, The Female Eunuch. But that's not enough to impress Jermaine.
You'd have to shoot it foreshortened through that figure? Because this way you end up with a sort of big empty space in the middle of your composition.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that is great. Wary of it almost. That's brilliant. That's absolutely what was in my mind at 1 o'clock this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Excellent.
So you're next. Why are you being nervous? Why?
I've never photographed anyone famous before.
It's just the same as photographing.
Can I just treat you like, because I normally photograph my friends, like people that I really know, so I didn't really know sort of how to approach you, but you seem quite nice.
I seem quite nice, do I?
You do.
Oh, I can also be quite nasty.
Lucinda's found out that Jermaine is president of the insect charity Bug Life. She's hoping that light shining through holes in the backdrop will look like fireflies.
So we're going firefly hunting. Not hunting, but observing.
Which you wouldn't do with a lantern because they'll fly into it and be killed.
Really? Do you mind holding the lantern, though?
Mine not to reason why, dear.
The success of a portrait is where you actually show that person clearly and simply, as opposed to actually making it an agenda for your own wacky individuality.
Or just sort of relax a little bit?
No.
No? OK. Can you hold the lantern up a tiny bit higher?
Yes.
Thank you. And less of a claw with your hand. With your hand. Am I bullying you? That's lovely, thank you. Oh, well, look at that. So that's really good. Hold that, where you looked at the...
Lovingly at the lantern.
Lovingly at the lantern.
This piece of oriental...
I think I came across as a bit of a dork when I was photographing Jermaine. I sort of come up with these really silly things that if I was sort of photographing my mates, it wouldn't really matter, but she's like Jermaine Greer.
Liz has prepared carefully for her encounter with Jermaine.
I'm kind of terrified and excited, but it's a good terrified. It's a good scared, and it's kind of give me the adrenaline that I need to come up with the ideas and to get it done.
I had this idea about you being sort of cryogenically frozen, like your words are kind of frozen in time, and they're kind of often revived again and just kept in storage with these, you know, these sound bites. So that was what I wanted to do with you.
Once Liz starts shooting, she quickly gets what she's after.
The image that stays in my head of all the ones I've seen is the one that Liz did of Jermaine, and it's technically not particularly good at all, but there's something there that I'm not quite sure that shows a potential of some sort of magic that could come through as she matures as an image maker.
Once again, Ed seems unfazed by the assignment. He's worked in studios before.
I thought, right, I need to find a way of getting her into conversation with me so she will actually show Jermaine Greer. I did that by basically getting her to talk about stuff that she was really into at the time, which was British citizenship, and I just let her go and took photos while I spoke to her.
Come on, get that camera and let's go.
I'll just try and keep talking to you and keep shooting as you give something that I think is a good photo, okay? Okay, Jermaine, being an Australian in England and how you feel about that after 40 years and your concept of home, I think.
Well, it's really funny being an Australian in England because I've been here since 1964, and every time I take a taxi, I get asked how long I've been over here, and the next question is always, when are you going back? I wouldn't mind betting that Ed is more single-minded, that he thinks photography all the time, that he is the equivalent of a train spotter, but he's a photographer. I mean, he's the kind of person who would take a photograph as he fell from a moving vehicle. It's just a penalty for not being British.
With the studio assignment over, it's Germaine Greer who has the final word.
The day was less bad than I expected because it was less intrusive. They were much more interested in their imagined photo montage, whatever, than they were in me. They brought their own artistic notion of what kind of a picture of Germaine Greer I would make. Well, it would be the same kind of picture they might make of a racehorse or a snail.
Coming up, things fall apart for Aaron.
Oh no!
The photographers start to crack.
Possibly my worst nightmare of a photo shoot, I think.
And the harsh reality of judging day.
I look at this and I think, you know, what's the band? And let's go to Brighton Beach and do a CD cover.
6 finalists are competing for the exposure every photographer craves.
Yep, that's good.
An exhibition at a prestigious gallery and a major book deal. They've taken portraits of each other and of a celebrity.
You're getting arms. This is a special privilege.
Ooh, thank you.
Now they've got one last chance to prove themselves.
What we have to do is work a bit again.
Midsummer on Brighton Beach. The final portrait assignment of the week will test how the photographers cope with an environment they can't control. Their brief is to capture the essence of holidaying in Britain. What's more, they'll need to approach strangers in the street to take part in their portraits.
Brighton Beach. Now, Brighton Beach could either be an opportunity or a downfall because it is a cliche.
You could say that's a somewhat hackneyed background, and that's been done by many photogenists before, you know, not omitting the fact that one of your judges has actually done it probably the best that anyone is ever going to do it.
Martin Parr's iconic images of British seaside resorts helped to create his reputation.
I'm always attracted to the seaside because for me it's got all the elements that I'm interested in. It's very British, it's lots of kids and families, there's lots of energy, it's very garish, bright colours. So all the elements there that can make a good photograph are there to be taken.
It's already clear that nothing's going to dampen Ed's spirits.
Pretty wet. But I'm quite excited about this, what's about to happen, because I don't know. But it could be good.
But for Liz, it's not just the weather that's the challenge.
Hi, my name's Liz. Hello.
She has little experience of photographing strangers.
You can keep your clothes. It's interesting to be working in this way because, you know, normally the people that I take photographs of are fully consensual, you know, booked a time, and so it's really very different for me. But for the first time, I'm starting to feel a little bit pressured, a little bit nervous about what's going to happen.
What I'm going to get you to do is just stand in the doorway so I can get the name of the restaurant in as well. You don't have to smile; you can just sort of be quite neutral. Bear with me a second.
Lucinda's setups are usually planned days in advance, normally working with models.
Sorry, what's your name?
Brian.
Brian, I'm Lucinda.
All of them will be doing assignments that are way out of their comfort zone. And that can be really frightening and can be really challenging, but it can also sort of really bring out the best in some people and the worst in others.
I've lost my shoe. Oh, it's really windy. My lens has got loads of water on it, so I'm just going to clean it off. Ready? Cool. Thank you so much. This is hell. This is absolute hell. Yeah, it's really tough, sort of with the wind and the rain and having to check that my lens was okay and working quickly and working with strangers, so it's sort of like possibly my worst nightmare of a photo shoot, I think.
Photographing in bad weather is something we just have to put up with in Britain, and it is very dispiriting when you're out there and it's completely chucking it down and you're on your own and you're out there for, say, 8 hours. But of course that's in a sense a very good test because it's really going to push our photographers to really apply themselves.
I think you need balls to put yourself into what could be troublesome or strange situations. If you do street photography now and you're photographing and you're acting nervous, people are going to look at you a bit funny. Whereas if